Hello, Sanbonani, Dumelang Molweni. Welcome to Asathi Reviews. My name is Asathi Nzelu, and in this video, I'll be doing a film review of the movie A Fall from Grace. The executive producers are Tyler Perry and Michelle Sneed. The director is Tyler Perry. The writer is Tyler Perry. The cinematographer is Terrence Buke. The main characters are Tyler Perry as Rory, Crystal Fox as Grace, Brescia Webb as Jasmine, Felicia Rashad as Sarah, and Mecca Brooks as Shannon. I have decided to title the movie Utopia. A Fall from Grace is a story of two women. One, Jasmine, a young lawyer who is the face of encouraging clients to take whatever sentence the state proposes to them without putting up any fight. Jasmine is a prosecutor's dream opponent because she makes the job easier for them. 2. Grace, a divorced mother that has been subjected to the most crippling betrayal. Grace has just been arrested for the murder of her husband. She has confessed to the police and is willing to take whatever sentence they give her. Her only condition is that she should be kept in a prison that is closer to her son's house so that she can see him often. Jasmine, the queen of plea bargains, is assigned to the case to get the client, Grace, to agree to a plea bargain and accept her punishment with grace. Jasmine's friend and colleague, Donnie, is displeased with the easy route that Jasmine always takes, how she never puts up a fight for any of her clients. He challenges her to break her back for Grace, to go the extra mile in fighting for Grace's freedom. Grace's son also gets hold of Jasmine and begs her to fight tooth and nail for his mother. Jasmine picks up her guns and goes to war. She visits Grace's friend Sarah to find out more about Grace and her relationship with the deceased. Jasmine's boss discovers that Jasmine has been gathering information to go to court and has not been encouraging the client to take the plea bargain as instructed. When Jasmine defies her boss's instructions to push for a plea bargain, the boss then threatens to fire her should she lose the case. As she is trying to build a case, Jasmine frequently visits Grace in hospital, and day by day, Grace spills her guts to Jasmine, telling her everything from the day she met the deceased to the day her world turned upside down. Grace divorced her first husband after she found out that he cheated on her with a secretary that is the same age as their son. Grace did not take anything from the divorce settlement. Instead, she went on to rebuild her life. She got herself a new house that she fully paid off eventually. When the dust had settled after the divorce and her life was now peaceful but miserable, her friend Sarah encouraged her to go out more and build new relationships. So one day, she went to an exhibition at an art gallery where she met a very handsome, well-spoken and well-traveled man who also happened to be the artist whose work was being exhibited that day. Grace and Shannon, the artist, indulged in a very short and flirtatious conversation. Even though Grace disappeared without leaving her contact details, Shannon managed to track her down and they went on many beautiful dates. Grace reminisces about her beautiful and memorable courtship and proposal with the artist Shannon. She tells Jasmine that those were the happiest days of her life, the good times, and that she loved making love to him. She also tells Jasmine that she does not trust her because of her unimpressive history of never winning cases. Nonetheless, she continues to tell her that the first few days of her marriage were utopia, blissful, and that he was the man of her dreams. Things turned south quicker than anyone could have ever expected. Grace started seeing red flags when he started taking secretive calls and had a very scary tone when speaking. Grace got fired from work because money had disappeared from the accounts that she oversees and the transactions had her signatures on them. As her husband, Shannon, is also concerned, and they bring their heads together to try and figure out what could have happened, but as days pass, more deaths are added to her name. The banks give her an address that belongs to the person that took the loans in her name, but she finds that the house has been abandoned for a very long time. Grace then requests CCTV footage from the bank and discovers that her sweet and loving husband, the man of her dreams, had conned her. He doesn't deny it at all. In fact, he laughs at her, telling her of how stupid and gullible she is. He confesses that it was hard for him to carry the plan through because Grace was a nice person, but he had to because he deserved that money. After all, he had saved her from her miserable and boring life. He refuses to move out and bring the money back, and even the police and lawyers cannot help since they are married. Shannon continues to torture Grace even more by bringing in random girls to the house. Shannon constantly laughs in Grace's face, telling her how stupid and gullible she is. In the blink of an eye, boiling with rage, Grace picks up a baseball bat and bashes him in the head numerous times. She then shoves the body down to the basement and drives away from the house. She calls her best friend Sarah and she tells her that she killed him. The police did not find the body and nobody knew where it was. Jasmine, with the help of her friends and her husband, had now gathered enough information for court, and she did extremely well on their first appearance, but things took a turn when Sarah, the best friend, cracked on the stand, telling the court that Grace had confessed to her that she had killed him. Jasmine's boss is fuming at the turn of events and at Jasmine's negligence. He tells her to pull up her socks, and her husband also agrees that she can do better. On the day of the closing arguments, Jasmine requests that Sarah takes the stand yet again, but the judge refuses. She persistently defies the judge and orders Sarah to take the stand, and in anger, the judge holds her in contempt of court. Grace is found guilty of murder, and on her way to the cell, she notices that her best friend is wearing the necklace that belonged to the husband, for whose murder she is being tried. Jasmine eventually apologizes to the judge and is set free. On her way home, she meets the delusioned lady that stays at Sarah's house. As Jasmine talks to the old lady, she realizes that the old lady is the owner of the derelict house that had been written in Grace's loan documents, and that Shannon had stolen all the artworks he had used to court Grace. Jasmine goes to the basement in Sarah's house and finds a lot of old women, chained and starved. Sarah had been keeping all these women hostage whilst milking them of their pensions. It also appears that Shannon is Sarah's son. Shannon, who is supposed to be dead but is instead recovering from his head injuries, overpowers Jasmine and ties her to the toilet seat. Jasmine's police husband receives incriminating information about Sarah and he rushes to Sarah's house to save Jasmine. When he gets there, he forces his way in and arrests Sarah. He goes down to the basement to look for Jasmine, but is ambushed by Shannon and they get into an intensive fight. Jasmine picks up her husband's gun and shoots Shannon multiple times, ensuring his death this time around. Grace was acquitted from her charges and was set free, while Sarah escaped from the police custody and went on to scare more old women. I recommend this movie to everyone because it is not only jaw-dropping, but it also reminds people to always be extra careful with their confidential information. It also reminds them to not trust too quickly. Another movie that is similar to A Fall from Grace is the movie I Care a Lot, because they both show how con artists in the USA will take advantage of old and vulnerable people, scamming them of their pensions. Thank you so much for watching this film review. My name is Asathi, and please do like, subscribe and comment down below under the hashtag Asathi Reviews.